something I want to tell you. Come here. Quick. Would you like to learn where artists get their inspiration for creating their art? Well, come on and watch. I want to show you right now. Artists get their inspiration for creating work in many ways. Sometimes it can be something that they hear on the radio, the way something smells, a flower in a window or passing by on the street. But one of the best ways that artists get their inspiration comes from looking at the work of other artists. And nowadays it's very easy. You can look at your phone, look at TV, on your laptop. Art is more accessible than it's ever been. But one way that you can see art in person and experience it and truly be inspired is by going to a place that everyone has in every city all over the world. It's called a museum. A museum is a wonderful place filled with works of artists from years and centuries gone by to present day artists. Artists that paint, draw, sculpt. It's a magical place to go to, especially when one is in search of inspiration. And today, I went to my local museum, the Baltimore Museum of Art, to see some works of art that inspire me, and they might also inspire you. The entrance at the Baltimore Museum of Art has been transformed by New York artist Micheline Thomas. She's used a vinyl mural to transform the front to make the museum look more inviting to the public that it serves. She has also created a living room-like installation which really gives it a homey feeling inside the museum. Now we're looking at one of my mentors from when I was a freshman in art school, Henry Moore, British artist. Mr. Moore had me working with hundreds of pounds of plaster because I couldn't get stone and marble and rock to work with. I could only work with plaster as I was trying to create something which I was so inspired from his work. And as you see, he was inspired by the pre-Columbian work of the Mayans. And you look right here, you can see the correlation in his figures and in the Mayan figures. Edgar Degas' Little Dancer, one of my favorites. The thing that gets me is how the material laced tutu and ribbon in her hair work so wonderfully with the bronze sculpture. It is as strong and still as delicate, and I love this piece. Auguste Rodin, the thinker. I'm from Philadelphia. I grew up with the Rodin Museum in my backyard. I just love this sculpture. It's one of my all-time favorites. Now we're outside in the sculpture garden and we're looking at some Henry Moore sculptures again. Had Henry Moore inside, Henry Moore outside. I can't get enough of Henry Moore, I'm telling you. I know I talk like I know him, but through his artwork, I feel the kinship. Always have, always will. This is called three-piece reclining figures. Number one. Now this piece, I just love to go walk around it, see the light reflect on it. As you walk around it, the light moves and dances. And right now in the wintertime, which I never noticed before, some of the branches or some of the parts move as gracefully as some of the branches in the trees, especially as I'm walking around. But I love how the light dances on this piece. Now, we'll walk around some more. There's a couple pieces, about 3 or 4 pieces down here I'd like to show you. These large blocks, and to me they look like children's wooden blocks that you would see kindergartners or pre-Kers playing with, but they're really quite massive, quite heavy. And if kids were playing with them, they would be giants. Eight-part circle. Now, the red pieces by another one of my favorite artists, Alexander Calder. Although I am more partial to his kinetic work, his mobiles, and you should also check out his circus. One way you can find it, look on YouTube, look up Calder Circus. The man was amazing with wire and tweezers. But the thing about this piece is not also these large triangular pieces, but these small, delicate pieces that look like just ribbons. And they're not. They're large pieces of metal. But just the way they're cut, the way they move, they look so delicate. And they're frozen in time in these curl-like shapes. They're so graceful. What Calder could do with metal, it was amazing. Now last summer I was here for a class, and we were walking around looking at some of the artwork, trying to find artwork that we could show to kids and maybe have them write about it or talk about it. And then we came upon Boxing Bunny on Anvil. And one of the first things we noticed was Bunny is kind of thin. Somebody needs to feed poor Bunny. And this is by Barry Flanagan. Now here's a piece by Tony Smith, and I love it. I love it because it's all the same color, but as light hits certain areas, it becomes different colors or different shades of black, or sometimes the black looks very light and very reflective. The other thing about this piece, it reminds me of the stealth planes and the new Tesla pickup truck. Same quality. This is by a French artist, Raymond Duchamp-Vallon. Now I wonder how long it will take you to look at this piece and figure out what animal it reminds you of. Did you say horse? You're exactly right. This is an abstracted horse, but it has all the feelings, movements, and gestures of a horse, so you should have gotten this. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm tactile kinesthetic, which means I love to touch things that are rough, bumpy, lumpy, have texture. I was doing everything I could not to touch this piece. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it's because of the texture in this box head piece by Eduardo Palazzo. It's fantastic. Thank you.